All right, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings, all praises to the Most High. And here we have another deputy-involved shooting, this time in Polk County, Florida, where the infamous Grady Judd is the sheriff, and you're going to hear him in a minute. But they claim that this man, Keante Govan, was charging at them with a brick. And I want to let you watch this news coverage real quick, and I'll be back to break the information of the story down. Just watch.
Developing tonight, new details on this deadly shooting involving deputies in Lakeland. And this is 10 Tampa Bay News at 11. I'm Dave Wagner.
And I'm Courtney Robinson. You can see the massive response from law enforcement right here as Sky 10 flew over the area earlier today. The Polk County Sheriff's Office says a man attacked two people, then charged at deputies with a brick before they shot and killed him.
He said over and over, I am not going back to prison. I am not going back to prison. They'll have to kill me. And that's what he did. He made us kill him. It was his choice to be shot tonight. We didn't make that decision. He did, and we obliged him.
All of this happened just after 3 p.m. at a mobile home park on Saturn Street in Lakeland. And 10 Tampa Bay News reporter Miranda Parnell is live outside the Polk County Sheriff's Office tonight in Winter Haven.
And Miranda, Sheriff Grady Judd says this wasn't the suspect's first brush with the law, saying he was a convicted offender.
That's right, Courtney, Dave. The sheriff tells us that the man was living in a home in that neighborhood that's commonly called the Chomo house. He said that's slang for molester. He told us that that man had spent more than half his life in prison. Today, as you heard there, the sheriff said the man kept repeating, I'm not going back to prison, before charging at deputies.
This guy is the worst of the worst. He is a predator.
Sheriff Grady Judd says 41-year-old Keante Govan lived a life of crime, and this afternoon was no different.
He was beating an elderly man in the head.
Judd says they received a 911 call that Govan attacked the man with a brick when another woman tried to intervene.
He chased our second victim into a shed where he beat her up and stole her cell phone because she said she was calling 911.
Shortly after, 3 Polk County deputies arrived on scene, demanding that Govan drop the brick. He didn't, and they tased him.
One of our witnesses said he just pulled the taser out and continued to charge the deputies.
That's when Judd said the deputies fired 6 shots, killing Govan.
He made us kill him. It was his choice to be shot tonight. We didn't make that decision. He did, and we obliged him.
And right now, a task force from the 10th Judicial Circuit is investigating the shooting. Now, when it comes to what started all of this, the sheriff says witnesses say the 2 men were sitting on the front porch when Govan suddenly became irate and began the attack. He tells us that the first victim in this incident is recovering at the hospital. In Polk County, Miranda Parnell, 10 Tampa Bay News.
All right. And so you see in that news story, they actually never mentioned the man's name. If you watch the bottom of the screen, it continued to say felon shot or convicted ex-offender shot. And that was the focus of a lot of this news media narrative of the man's past. Now, do I agree with, the crimes he was charged with? If, I had to blurt a little bit of that out, but he was convicted of, wronging children. Let me just put it that way. And so that is the worst of the worst. As they said, he stayed in Chomo House, and that particular section, that mobile home park, is known for having people who have been convicted of those similar crimes, right? And so they're saying that, he was out there sitting around just randomly, and then all of a sudden he just went off and started beating an elderly man. Now, of course, I don't believe that's how it happened. There had to be some kind of interaction, but that justifies them saying, okay, we got to come in here and take this guy out. And after he just went off on a random elderly man, he started chasing a woman. And then he said that, he tried to beat her. All of those things are wrong. But the punishment for those particular crimes are jail, are court, are being arrested and being bailed out and having your due day in court, not being shot down dead in the streets like a dog. And then they also further justified by him saying, you know, he said, I am not going back to jail. I am not going back to jail. And as they tase him, all of a sudden, once again, we've seen this narrative before too, the big bionic black man who a taser just doesn't work. We're able to just pull the taser out while block out pepper spray without intense melanin and just continue to charge at police. And the only thing that could stop him was bullets. And so they shot the brother 6 times, and, you know, he was pronounced dead at the scene. But also you can hear the sheriff making the erroneous claim, he made us kill him. He made us kill him. We did not decide to kill him. He made that decision, and we happily obliged. Now, I can show you several videos of white men charging police with weapons, with axes, with bats, with their bare fists, as a lot of the videos that I've shown have been displayed, and they are not shot in that manner. And so there seems to be, once again, a differentiation, a level of discernment when it comes to certain individuals or groups. But this Sheriff Grady Judd, and if you remember him, there was something earlier this year where there was a big brawl at one of the rich neighborhoods out there in Lakeland, Polk County. And, you know, he got on camera and, you know, he kind of grandstanded with them. But those were a bunch of white kids. And so, but he's calling this guy, you know, the worst of the worst. This, you know, he was a molester. And, you know, he almost like saying he deserved to get killed. Now, once again, the punishment for crimes is jail time, not absolute death. And we're seeing this more often and more often. There was a time when these police killings were, you know, national news, you know, but now they're happening so often, they're just a byproduct. You get stories like this in Grady Judd. You know, I just have to say that's one of the most whitest redneck names ever invented. But, you know, he has a reputation of showing those pictures as soon as, you know, while he's talking about the particular incident. But, you know, evidently the young, you know, the man spent like 23 years of his life in prison. So definitely there has to be some mental health issues as well. It's not humanly natural to spend, you know, time like that in prison. But I just had to share this video after, you know, listening to that sheriff continue to denigrate that brother, you know, continue to paint the narrative that this is the only way that situation could have been resolved. And that's what they do in a lot of these cases. But that is not particularly true. And so rest in peace to the young brother. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. You see the number as well. 919-587-7782. Thank y'all for liking, watching, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And as always, I pray you have peace and blessings. And as the scripture says, all things that are hidden shall be revealed, and those things done in secret shall be exposed on the mountaintop.
Let's go, Rich. Let's go. You watching Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. The propaganda grammar, don't believe none of it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Who keep the people informed with stories abroad from literary work where the narrative's wrong. The research is always on point, the commentary is hard. It's Rich Teller raising the bar. Follow along, shout out to FBA, still FTP, big up NFAC, and all my black families. It's 3 sides to all stories, which one you gon' believe? We run down on the false prophets when they come to deceive. 100% urban world news, current events. We don't like them lies. Media is biased, we got God beside us. Ladies and gents is power. If you don't know by now, look around, we the darkest hours. Cops squeezing hammers, they don't understand us. We stop and freeze with our hands to kill us off like cancer. Don't speculate before the facts on the case. Telehouse, set them straight by smoking rich investigates. You watching Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing, telehouse publishing, breaking news coverage. The propaganda grammar, don't believe none of it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to telehouse publishing.
Negroes have listened to the trickery and the lies and the false promises of the white man now for too long.